A legacy is what has been left behind from one generation to the next. A legacy can be a structure such as the ancient Egyptians with the great pyramids that stretch up to the sky. It could be moral, such as the preservation and reverence of the land by the First Nation communities around the world, or information passed down throughout the generations from the ancient writings of history to the textbooks of today's culture. Traditions, values, wisdom, and destruction are all legacies left behind that we have conformed to follow and respect.
Here at Renison University College, this garden is a legacy of Larry Lamb. At the University of Waterloo, Larry Lamb was an environmental studies professor who specialized in native plants. He was interested in the growing Asian studies program at Renison. The garden was designed by Larry Lamb with the intent of helping to bridge cultural differences. The East and West Garden combined native North American species with their East Asian counterparts.
Larry Lamb has a plant that he uses in all of the gardens he designs, commonly known as witch hazel. This Native American plant grows throughout the eastern side of the continent, roughly from Nova Scotia to the Great Lakes in Ontario. It is a small shrub or tree that blooms from late October to early November in bright yellow flowers that grow in small clumps. Comparatively, the Japanese witch hazel can bloom anytime from January to early April depending on the weather. Its color can range from a brilliant yellow to red and orange, and its fragrance is less overwhelming than its American counterpart. The leaves are generally smaller, and the Japanese flowers often create a more delicate scattering effect than other variations of its species. While the American witch hazel grows best on the north side of hills and houses, preferring semi-shaded areas with rich soil, growing in direct sunlight can be harmful to this plant. Whereas the Japanese witch hazel prefer full sun to partial shade and grows in acidic, well-drained soil.
Thriving alongside many wonderful plants is the Japanese red dragon maple, or scientifically known as Acer palmatum. It is a short, brown plant with low branches that grows best in sunny locations. The red dragon maple has small red, purple flowers in the spring, which in the fall change to include yellow and bronze to the red-purple coloring of the flowers. Its drooping leaves resemble claw or talon-like features, giving this plant its creative name. Though it is able to grow in North America, its native land is Japan, Korea, and China.
Throughout the garden are pieces that have been donated and dedicated in honor of the individuals that have contributed to the life and students at Renison. The East meets West Garden is welcomed with a Japanese Shinto gateway arch structure. It is a tall, stable, wooden structure that opens up the rest of the garden, giving it a sense of security and beauty to the garden.
In the center of the garden, we notice a Japanese pedestal-style lantern, typically used as a guardian lantern, which was donated by Kiko and Charles Belair. These two have been very beneficial and kind-hearted in the creation of Renison. Kiko and Charles worked together to establish the Center for East Asian Studies, in which they donated the largest gift in Renison's history. With their sponsorship, the generosity continued until Charles' death on September 17, 2012.
The bridge is a central structure that adds a natural feel to the East meets West Garden, as it connects the garden entirely and is constructed over the Stone Creek. It was donated and built by Paul and Lynn Schumacher. There are two wooden cedar benches that were donated in memory of Susan Hyde and her husband Michael Bird. Professor Bird taught at Renison for 34 years in religion, art, and film. Notably, he was also a collector of German and Canadian art. His wife was a professor of psychology at Renison and a clinical psychologist who passed away in 2007. The Susan Hyde Award was created in her memory to go to a student who showed academic achievement and worked towards a degree in the social sciences. Their contribution to the school was an inspiration to those around them.
Ray Bradbury wrote about legacy in the book Fahrenheit 451. Everyone must leave something behind when he dies, my grandfather said. A child or a book or a painting or a house or a wall built or a pair of shoes made or a garden planted. Something your hand touched some way so your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there. It doesn't matter what you do, he said. As long as you change something from the way it was before, you touch it into something that's like you after you take your hands away. The difference between the man who just cuts lawns and a real gardener is in the touching, he said. The lawn cutter might just as well not have been there at all. The gardener will be there a lifetime.